We are coming to you live from East Lansing at the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Wildlife Disease Lab. I'm Aaron Jordan. We are breaking in because a second deer in Meridian Township was found to have chronic wasting disease. I'm joined now by Steve Schmidt, wildlife veterinarian at the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Thank you so much for joining me. What do we know so far?
Yeah, hi Aaron, good to see you again. We did this about a month ago. So what we know is that another deer tested positive for chronic wasting disease. It's really not a surprise to us. It's disappointing, of course. But when we found that positive deer back in May, we expected to find more. I mean, we didn't think that was the only CWD positive deer that was out there. So it's just a matter of how many more we would find.
So where do we go from here?
Well, we're still early in our surveillance stage of the plan, which means, testing lots of deer. We've tested hundreds of deer so far, road kills and some taken by USDA Wildlife Services, but their plan calls for testing thousands of deer, and most of those will come from hunter-harvested animals this fall.
So what do you want the public to know at this point?
Well, obviously that we have a disease that we don't like to have in our deer herd, and we need their help, both their support of our management, and then more importantly, with the hunters, continue to go hunting this fall and turn the deer head in for testing. And then one other thing for the general public, this is a disease that in the last few months of the deer's life, the prion that causes the disease will cause a neurological disease that would cause them to lose their fear of man. You could walk up to them. They tend to be skinny because they're not eating. Sometimes those circles. So if you have a deer that's acting odd, call the DNR.
And also there's that emergency order in effect that no roadkill deer are allowed to be salvaged, and you still want the public to contact you if they see a roadkill deer in the Tri-County area.
Yes, exactly. There is a phone number that they can call that's designated for that, and we have some temporary students hired, and they will run out there as quickly as they can and get that, bring it in the lab for testing. And so far they've gotten almost 100 deer from that area, what we call the CWD core area, 9 townships surrounding the positive deer, the initial positive deer.
Anything else that you want to add at this time?
No, only that this deer was found within about a mile of the doe that we initially found back in May. So I guess if there's any good news here is that it's in close. That's better to find a small area where you have the disease than a large area. In other words, finding it 1 mile from the first deer is better than 10 miles from that deer.
So it was found relatively close to where that first deer was?
Yes, within a mile.
Okay, thank you so much. Steve Schmidt, wildlife veterinarian here at the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Again, a second deer was found with chronic wasting disease in Meridian Township. Dr. Schmidt says that it was found within a mile of where the initial deer found with chronic wasting disease was back in May. The emergency order is still in effect, which means that no salvage of roadkill deer is allowed and that all deer must be tested. We will have more information for you on Monday on Meridian News Now at 5:30, online at HOMTV.net, and of course our social media pages. For now, live in East Lansing, Aaron Jordan, Home TV.